4 years after his introduction in media, Ghost Rider had brought Vengeance into the big screen in 2007. And after a 4-year wait, we finally got a sequel to that movie. Nick Cage has came back, but this time Marvel wanted to take Ghost Rider into a completely different direction with more action, more supernatural chaos, and occasionally more of Nick Cage screaming. And that is a lot more fire to cook up outside. So what should have been a pretty interesting movie would return to a pretty hot spaghetti mess really quickly. I'm going to tell you all why in just a moment. What's going on, everybody? My name is Nate, and on this 67th episode of The Road to Avengers Doomsday, we're taking a look at Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. Originally released internationally in late 2011 before its theatrical release in 2012, the film reunited Nicolas Cage as the iconic Ghost Rider and brought Vengeance more chaos in the movie. So I'm really excited to break down this next Ghost Rider movie to you all, and I'll let you guys know the movie more about it as I review it. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show as I take you a deep dive into Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. Following the surprising little success of Ghost Rider, Sony Pictures wanted another Avengers series. Nick Cage has returned as the title character, but the filmmakers do not want to make this Ghost Rider movie the same style as the original. Instead, Spirit of Vengeance takes Johnny out of the United States and places into Eastern Europe. He's still struggling with the curse, he's trying to control the Spirit of Vengeance, and he's looking for a way to free himself. This time, however, Johnny gets an opportunity to save someone's life. It's an insane, wild premise that would totally work for a TV show, and that's exactly what I expect for a Ghost Rider movie. And honestly, I'm going to give you a breakdown on each of this stuff in detail. Let's start with the obvious question. Does Nick Cage go absolutely crazy in this movie? Yes, he does. And that's the reasons why I enjoy his character, because Johnny Blaze is more than intense this time around. He's angry, unstable, and exhausted. Vengeance takes control. Cage goes all in. Some viewers think that Cage's out-of-control performance is really unethical, and it's not how Ghost Rider is supposed to be. But Nick Cage is like being Nick Cage. And I just really gotta appreciate how Nick Cage himself does this. Bro does great acting, and he's just pretty funny a lot. Now, the biggest introductions I really like for this movie is Moranu, who is played brilliantly by actor Idris Elba. It would be years before he would enter the MCU as Hemdall, but I gotta appreciate how Idris Elba brings a serious and charisma for the movie that desperately needs someone capable of grounding the insanity. His chemistry with Nick Cage works really well, and Morano gives Johnny someone who can challenge him and remind him he's still human underneath that fiery skull. The villain of this movie is Rourke, who is played by Kieran Hins. Now, Rourke is basically the devil himself, manipulating events from behind the scenes. Now the actor does a great job playing a sinister character. The character Nightmare that was in the last Ghost Rider movie I covered a couple of weeks ago, but this was pretty more intense when I reviewed it. And the problem with this movie is that the screenplay doesn't give him enough time for depth. The concept is good, but the execution could have been much stronger. Now, the two characters that Johnny Blaze is trying to protect is Danny, who is played by Fergus Rodan, and he is a pretty good role. And I also like the actress for Danny's mother, Nadia, who's played by Volante Palacido. I do like this mother and son relationship they have, and it just helps reveal Johnny's compassion. Now, another important character in this movie is Ray Kerrigan, who is played by Johnny Whitworth. Now, Kerrigan serves as one of Rourke's agents. After receiving supernatural power, he becomes the villain Blackout. This gives Ghost Rider another supernatural opponent to fight. While the character isn't memorable as Ghost Rider itself, the visual design of him is actually pretty cool. Now, behind the scenes, the directors of this movie is actually pretty intense. So, this film is directed by Mark Nevedine and Brian Taylor. Now, I don't know these guys, but they previously done the movie Crank. And you could definitely see their crazy filming they do. The camera moves constantly, the action's chaotic, and the movie has a gritty visual style. And Ghost Rider itself feels like more aggressive. It's a really big different approach from Mark Steven Johnson's 2007 movie. And speaking of Ghost Rider, let's talk about how his new design looks. I also like how Ghost Rider looks so realistic and scary, and it does so well of capturing the realism of the villain. And the health cycle looks pretty scary as well. And this is actually a more monstrous and scary appearance of Ghost Rider. It feels less like a traditional superhero, more like a supernatural creature. And not to mention, the action sequences are actually pretty great. We actually see the health cycle in action, cars get blown up, and Johnny's intense transformation sequences are far more aggressive than the previous one. And I enjoyed that pretty much. And while the action stuff is pretty good, there's still a bunch of nosedives. The screenplay of this movie is really frustrating. The story has some good ideas, but sadly they're not as cool and developed as they should be. The mythologies can be really frustrating, and the movie sometimes feels like it's rushing from one scene to the next. And the critics of this movie were pretty harsher. The film sits at 18% on Rotten Tomatoes, with criticism focusing on the screenplay, visual effects, and Cage's wildly performance. So, is Spirit of Vengeance better than the 2007 Ghost Rider movie? That's a complicated question for many Ghost Rider fans to be thinking about. Spirit of Vengeance is crazy, darker, and more intense than the original. But now I just want to say my thoughts. Personally, I don't think Spirit of Vengeance is a pretty good movie, but I do think it's really entertaining. The cast is fantastic, the action sequences are pretty great, and there's potentially a great Ghost Rider movie hiding inside this story, and it's pretty good, but unfortunately, it never gets completely together. And unfortunately for fans, this would be Nicolas Cage's last performance as Johnny Blaze, because after this movie, he just hangs up the chains. And eventually, the film rights of Ghost Rider reverted back to Marvel itself. The character would return in the live-action form with Robbie Reyes, who eventually becomes that universe's Ghost Rider in the Marvel TV show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And another thing, Ryan Gosling is going to be Ghost Rider in the 2028 Ghost Rider movie. So I hope that movie is good and we can see some great action and sequences for that film. So why do I include this movie in the Road to Avengers Doomsday, you may be asking? Well, I'm not looking at the MCU because I look at different Marvel movies before and during the MCU's run. I've covered Howard the Duck, the original Ghost Rider, mostly of the X-Men franchise, the 2 Deadpool movies, and I just like looking at Marvel's pre-MCU history. These movies help create the long road that will eventually lead to the massive interconnected universe we have today. And with these Marvel universes allowing characters and stories continue these to interact, even the most forgotten corners of Marvel history can be interesting again. So in conclusion, Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance isn't a perfect movie, but it actually tries to do pretty good. And I was pretty interested of how this movie came to be. I really hope that Ryan Gosling's Ghost Rider movie would be good. Speaking of which, let me just say something. What is that? Seriously? Nick Cage got to be Ghost Rider twice? And somehow I didn't get my own motorcycle. Look, Deadpool, you don't need a motorcycle. Yes, I do. Imagine me as Ghost Rider. I'd be unstoppable. Deadpool, get out of my video now. Okay, fine, Nate. But I'll see you soon. Ciao. Deadpool, you need to stop showing up my videos. It's rude and disrespectful. Mayhew's guys, Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you give a like, comment, subscribe, and let me know down below. What do you think of these Ghost Rider duology films? And are you excited for the Ghost Rider in the MCU? Just let me know down. But until then, have a good day, and thanks for watching. Remember, my videos are just the thoughts on the videos I watch on a daily basis. And I'll see you guys next episode. Be safe. Have a good day.